Okay, so I want you to meet Brenda. Brenda is a new leader. She's been in the job for about a year, and she's having some collaboration issues. She has some conflict with her colleagues. She's feeling overtaxed by too many meetings, but happily her boss is really understanding. So here's what Brenda's journey looks like. It's kind of a mixed bag. There's a couple things that aren't going so well, one thing that's going all right. But what does Brenda's journey look like on her annual employee survey? Well, it looks like the answer to this question. My coworkers collaborate effectively to achieve our goals, and that number's down. We don't really see Brenda's issues here. It sort of hides it. So why are surveys not that informative? Well, first, they're guilty of the myth of the average user. So in the 40s, the US Air Force were having all these pilot errors, and they looked into it, and it turns out the cockpit was designed based on an average across 10 biometrics, so wingspan and height, and 0 out of 4,000 airmen were average across all of those dimensions. So similarly, surveys tell us a lot about the average employee, and they ain't no such thing. The next is that surveys compress things to the mean. So what's interesting with employee experience are the extremes, the stuff that's not working and the stuff that's really working. But surveys compress that to the middle and becomes kind of uninteresting. It's also always in the corporation's terms. No one in the history of work has ever said, my coworkers collaborate effectively to achieve our goals. Never. So we can't see their needs. And so it's really a problem of scale. Survey tells you there's a problem in this area, but doesn't give us the street level view of what the needs actually are so we can solve the problem appropriately. So this opens up what I call the empathy gap. And the empathy gap is the difference between our traditional methods of understanding employee experience and people's lived experience on the ground. And we need to close that if we're going to design really good HR programs. So I want to show you the way we've done this with a method we call scientific HR. And that's honoring each individual's lived experience using the methods and evidence of the behavioral sciences. The most important thing about scientific HR is that it's radically person-centered. The idea is that we will look at what life is actually like for an employee on the ground, and we're going to use structured, validated methods to make sure we can trust the conclusions that we're drawing. So I'll show you how this works in practice. We had a client, they approached us and they said, our annual survey scores are down across collaboration, innovation, and agility. But we don't know why, we don't know the cause, and we definitely don't know how to solve it. Can you help us? So we said, okay. So we reached into the scientific HR toolbox, pulled out employee journey maps. So they're just like customer journey maps, but you're not mapping an individual's journey through your store, you're mapping an employee's journey through their day. And what we used was, the first thing we did is we went out to the behavioral sciences and looked at what they're saying about collaboration, innovation, and agility, and we created these tags, the things that are getting in the way and the things that are helping those things. Then we got employees to use an app to log their day, and they would log touch points and how they're feeling and what they're experiencing, and they used those tags, or they created their own tags and added their own description. And then lastly, we held debrief meetings with each participant in the study. And there we allowed them to add meaning to the data, right? Get the qualitative information, turn the data into information by doing that and tell their story. And what we ended up with is an employee journey map like this. This is Brenda's journey. She was in the study. And so we see how her day goes up and down and why. And we see the key blockers and the key enablers to what's going on. Now, what's key about this is that this is Brenda helping herself, right? This is in her own words, it's her own lived experience, it's her own story, and now we can actually address her needs. And when you aggregate a bunch of employee journey maps, you end up understanding the themes and the patterns that are getting in the way of your employees. And that's a ground-up approach that really captures what it's like to work at your place. And so using these methods, we've helped our clients over the last 4 years create a healthier workforce. Their drug costs have dropped 22%, and their lifestyle claims have gone down 33%. So with Scientific HR, you can get healthier employees and a better culture. Thank you.